Welcome to Body Basics, where we break down complex health topics to help you understand your body better. I'm your host, and today we're diving deep into a subject that affects millions worldwide: depression. Buckle up, because we're about to embark on a 14-minute journey through the depths of this often misunderstood condition. Depression. It's not just feeling sad after a breakup or losing your favorite hoodie. It's like your brain decided to throw a party, but instead of inviting joy and motivation, it sent out invitations to gloom and fatigue. But hey, at least your bed's always happy to see you, right? Let's start with some sobering statistics. According to the World Health Organization, over 280 million people globally are affected by depression. That's more than the entire population of Brazil. And here's a fun fact: depression doesn't discriminate. It's like that annoying relative who shows up uninvited to family gatherings. It can affect anyone, regardless of age, gender, or how many followers you have on Instagram. Now you might be thinking, isn't depression just being really sad? Well, not quite. It's like comparing a paper cut to a sword wound. Both hurt, but one's a lot more serious and long-lasting. Depression is a complex mental health condition that affects your emotions, thoughts, and physical well-being. It's not just feeling down, it's like carrying a heavy backpack filled with rocks everywhere you go. Let's break it down. There are several types of depression, each with its own quirks. Major Depressive Disorder, or MDD, is like the overachiever of the depression world. It's intense, persistent, and makes everyday tasks feel like climbing Mount Everest in flip-flops. Then there's Persistent Depressive Disorder, also known as dysthymia. It's like having a gloomy cloud follow you around for years. It's less intense than MDD, but it sticks around like that one song you can't get out of your head. Bipolar depression is depression's moody cousin. It comes with extreme highs, mania, and lows, depression. Imagine your mood as a roller coaster designed by a caffeinated toddler. That's bipolar disorder for you. Seasonal affective disorder, or SAD, is like your mood decided to sync with the weather app. It typically hits during winter when sunlight is scarce, making you feel like a sad vampire. Now let's talk symptoms. Depression isn't just about feeling sad. It's more like your emotions went on strike, and your body decided to join in solidarity. You might experience persistent sadness, sure, but also irritability. Because why be sad when you can be angry at everything, right? There's also a loss of interest in activities you once enjoyed. Suddenly, binge-watching your favorite show feels as appealing as watching paint dry. Physically, depression can make you feel like you've run a marathon while sleeping. Fatigue becomes your new best friend, and your bed turns into a black hole that's hard to escape. Your appetite might go haywire too. Some people lose interest in food entirely, while others find comfort in eating everything in sight. It's like your stomach is playing Russian roulette with your cravings. But wait, there's more. Depression can mess with your mind in ways you might not expect. Ever tried to concentrate while a toddler is having a tantrum nearby? That's what focusing feels like when you're depressed. Memory problems? Check. It's like your brain decided to store important information in the same place it keeps the lyrics to that one-hit wonder from the 90s. Now let's dive into the causes of depression. Spoiler alert, it's complicated. It's not just because you didn't get enough likes on your last selfie. Depression is like a puzzle where the pieces are constantly changing shape. First up, biology. Your brain is like a chemical cocktail party, and sometimes the DJ, aka neurotransmitters, messes up the playlist. Serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine are the main players here. When they're out of whack, it's like trying to dance to 3 different songs at once. Chaos ensues. Genetics also play a role. If depression runs in your family, it's like you've inherited a slightly increased chance of joining the club. But remember, genetics load the gun, environment pulls the trigger. Speaking of environment, life can throw some serious curveballs. Chronic stress, trauma, abuse. These experiences can shape our brain's response to the world around us. But here's where it gets interesting. Did you know your gut health could be linked to depression? That's right, your stomach has more to do with your mood than just making weird noises during quiet moments. The gut-brain axis is like a gossip hotline between your digestive system and your noggin. A poor diet can lead to inflammation, which might contribute to depressive symptoms. So next time someone tells you to trust your gut, they might be on to something. Sleep is another major player in the depression game. It's like your brain's janitor, cleaning up the mental clutter while you snooze. mess with your sleep, and you're basically leaving the trash to pile up in your mental workspace. Circadian rhythm disruptions can throw your whole system out of whack, making you feel like you're perpetually jet-lagged. Now let's bust some myths. Depression isn't just caused by one bad event like your favorite coffee shop closing down. It's not a sign of weakness either. Telling someone with depression to just cheer up is like telling someone with a broken leg to walk it off. It doesn't work that way, Karen. Let's get nerdy for a moment and talk about the biology of depression. Your brain isn't just sitting there looking pretty, it's constantly changing. In depression, certain areas of the brain like the amygdala, your emotion center, and the hippocampus, memory central, can actually change in size and function. It's like your brain is going through its own renovation project, but without the cool before and after photos. Inflammation is another key player. You know how your body sends out the troops when you get a paper cut? Well, sometimes it does the same thing in response to stress, and this inflammatory response might contribute to depression. It's like your immune system is that overprotective friend who means well but ends up making things worse. Now let's address some common misconceptions. Depression isn't just sadness. It's more like someone drained all the color out of your world, leaving everything in shades of gray. It's not a choice either. Trust me, if people could choose not to be depressed, depression helplines would go out of business faster than an ice cream truck in a snowstorm. And for those who think people with depression are just lazy, imagine trying to run a marathon while wearing a sumo wrestler suit. That's what daily tasks can feel like when you're depressed. It's not about willpower, it's about a real, physical lack of energy and motivation. Oh, and let's not forget the myth about antidepressants turning you into a zombie. Antidepressants don't change who you are. They're more like a pair of glasses for your brain chemistry. They help you see things more clearly, but they don't give you Superman's laser vision. Now, onto the not-so-fun part, diagnosis and treatment. If you think you might be depressed, it's crucial to see a mental health professional. They're like detectives for your mind, using tools like clinical interviews and questionnaires to piece together the puzzle of what's going on in your head. Treatment options are like a buffet. There's something for everyone. Therapy is a popular choice. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, is like a personal trainer for your thoughts, helping you bench press those negative thinking patterns out of your mind. Dialectical behavior therapy, or DBT, teaches you skills to cope with stress and regulate your emotions. It's like learning to be a Jedi, but for your feelings. Then there's medication. Antidepressants come in various flavors: SSRIs, SNRIs, MAOIs, and more acronyms than a government agency. They work by tweaking your brain chemistry, kind of like tuning a radio to get a clearer signal. But remember, finding the right medication can be like dating. Sometimes you need to try a few before you find the one. For those who've tried traditional treatments without success, there are some cutting-edge options. Ketamine treatments are showing promise for treatment-resistant depression. It's like hitting the reset button on your brain's operating system. Transcranial magnetic stimulation, TMS, is another option. It's like giving your brain a gentle magnetic massage. But wait, there's more. Some researchers are exploring the potential of psychedelics like psilocybin, magic mushrooms, and MDMA in treating depression. It's like sending your consciousness on a field trip to rewire your neural pathways. However, these treatments are still in clinical trials, so don't go foraging in the woods just yet. Let's not forget about holistic approaches. Exercise, for instance, is like a natural antidepressant. It's amazing how running from your problems can actually help solve them when it's on a treadmill. Diet plays a role too. The Mediterranean diet, with its focus on whole foods and healthy fats, has been shown to reduce depressive symptoms. It's like your fork can be a tool for mental health. Who knew? Meditation and mindfulness are also powerful tools. They're like going to the gym for your mind, helping you build mental muscles to cope with stress and negative thoughts. And let's not underestimate the importance of sleep hygiene. Creating a bedtime routine is like giving your brain a lullaby. It helps signal that it's time to wind down. Now let's talk about how depression impacts daily life. At work, depression can be like trying to type with oven mitts on. Everything becomes more difficult and time-consuming. It can affect your creativity, decision-making, and motivation. The economic impact is substantial too, with lost productivity and sick days adding up to billions annually. In personal relationships, depression can be like an uninvited guest that overstays its welcome. It can strain communication and lead to isolation. If you have a loved one with depression, remember that sometimes just being there is enough. You don't need to fix them, you just need to show them they're not alone in this. Depression also messes with your self-image. It's like having a supercritical Instagram filter permanently stuck on your self-perception. Everything looks worse than it actually is. This is why many people with depression might seem fine on the outside. They've become experts at hiding their struggles. Living with depression is a daily challenge, but there are ways to cope. Creating a routine can be incredibly helpful. It's like building a scaffold to support you when your mood can't. Celebrate small wins. Managing to brush your teeth or answer an email can be a victory when you're depressed. It's also crucial to stay connected with supportive people. Isolation is like fuel for depression, so reach out, even when it feels impossible. Remember, depression is often a chronic condition. Dealing with relapses is part of the journey. It's not about never feeling down again, it's about building resilience and knowing how to navigate the low periods. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, stigma. Despite all our progress, there's still a lot of misunderstanding around mental health. Some people still think depression is just a fancy word for being sad, or worse, that it's not a real illness. Newsflash, depression is as real as that extra slice of pizza you definitely didn't eat last night. Combating stigma starts with education and open conversations. Talk about mental health like you talk about physical health. If you had a broken arm, you wouldn't hesitate to get it treated, right? Mental health should be the same. And let's change our language too. Words like crazy or weak have no place in mental health discussions, unless you're talking about how crazy good that pizza was. As we wrap up our whirlwind tour of depression, remember this: depression is treatable. It might feel like you're stuck in a dark tunnel, but there is light at the end, even if you can't see it right now. Managing depression is a journey, and like any journey, it has its ups and downs. But with the right support and treatment, you can lead a fulfilling life. If you're struggling, remember you're not alone. Reach out to a mental health professional, a trusted friend, or a helpline. Your brain might be telling you that no one cares, but trust me, that's just depression being a lying liar who lies. And for those of you watching who don't have depression, be supportive. You don't need to understand everything about depression to be there for someone who's struggling. Sometimes just listening without judgment can make a world of difference. So, there you have it. Depression explained in 14 minutes. We've covered a lot of ground, from the biology of the brain to the importance of sleep, from cutting-edge treatments to age-old stigmas. Remember, knowledge is power, and understanding depression is the first step in fighting it. Before we go, here's a call to action. Share this video. Start conversations about mental health. Be the change you want to see in how our society views and treats depression. And remember, taking care of your mental health isn't just important, it's essential. This is Body Basics, signing off. Remember, your mind matters and so do you. Until next time, stay curious, stay compassionate, and most importantly, stay healthy, both in body and mind.